So I'm going to take you through how to write a workout program, or what you should be looking for in a workout program. Now, just to let you know, this is a really, really basic one. So if you go and get a workout program done by someone else, on the back end of there should be a lot more detail than this. The reason why I'm showing you this is because sometimes people focus on all these other little points, when really it's just this information I'm going to show you which is important. So if you're going to go get it done from a professional or anything, they should have a lot more detail, not on it for you, but in the back end of it, so what they know to focus on. So quickly, I'm just going to show you a 6-week training program. So I've left this in there just because I'm going to keep it really simple and just do it like for marathon training. So whatever your goal is, whatever you're planning to do, whatever your target is, and this can be worked on that. So I put race day here because goal setting, my end or long-term goal would be a marathon, which is not 4 weeks away, because you shouldn't be training for 4 weeks for something as big as that. So let's say that's a more of like a 25, 30 week goal, then this would act as a little marker. So this is only an 8K race. So on here, I know that if I'm hitting certain times or I'm able to complete it or whatever, that if I continue doing that over and over, then I'm gradually going to get to where I want to be. So let's start, for instance. So dependent, this can be for whatever you want. I'm just going to go through a basic one for like running. So let's start, for instance, so Monday morning. This is for a complete beginner. I'm going to go for like a 1K walk or something like that, or a jog, stop, start, walk and jog, and then also PM, a core session. I'm just going to keep adding little bits in and just put them in like random places just so you get a bit of an idea what's going on. Obviously, each week should be progressive. So the main things you're looking at here is, one, something you enjoy, something you can stick to. And what I mean by that is, if you're working 5 days a week, and you're really restricted to sessions, and don't go and put 3 or 4 sessions in, because it's just not achievable. So something you enjoy, something you can stick to, something that's progressive. So for instance, we've got the 1K here, next week the 2K. I'm not saying 3, 4, 5, but each week something different should be happening that's making sure you're moving along. So we could even put a leg workout or leg day, for instance, and then just keep filling these out in little blocks. This is a really basic way, but this is the easiest way. It's the easiest way I find anyway. So this is how we do it, and just build it out like this. What's massively important, because what people will do is, right, let's go run. Right, this day run. Right, that day let's do some legs again, compound moves. Right, this day we'll go for a run again. And they fill all this in, and then before they know it, you haven't got a day off, which is massively important, because if you're going to be aching, well, it doesn't matter whether you're going to be aching or not, you're going to need some rest. So what you need to do is physically put it in rest, and don't alter that. Stick to your rest. I know everyone wants to get good results and wants to train as hard as possible, but you need rest to get those results. This is something that I did. I just got carried away with it, and I was just banging 2 sessions, 3 sessions a day in and going for it. And it's only when I look back, I think I got up to week 3 and I had no rest sessions. I didn't really want to rest, but I knew that I had to. So just go around. And if you want to do 1 rest day, you want to do 2, that's completely fine. It's up to you. If you don't want to do 2 sessions a day, you want to do 1, then that's fine as well. What I want you to do, though, is to have something each week which follows on from the next. Like this one, for instance. So let's put another one in here. So let's build things up. So this is just completely random. So right, we've done 5K that week. So by next Saturday, I want to either be beating the time I've got, or moving that up to 7K as a little target. If I know I don't hit that, then okay, let's slow this down and just stick with that one and try and improve time. All this is going to be is information for you. So if you do well there and you progress, then the next one should be a little bit further. So each week you should be able to see little bits of progression, because without it, you're just going to look at it and think, oh yeah, there's no point in this, I'm not getting anywhere. So you physically need to be able to see something where you're saying, well, actually, I've done that, and looking back, week 2, I actually completed that, so this week I'm looking forward to trying to get that. And then your brain will start to pick up on the positives and realise that you're actually getting results, which keeps you motivated for longer. So let's say this is a 10k race. So if we're building up slowly by doing that little bit by time, and then you get here, and then you know this is a 10k, and you're training. I know it's short, but this is just an example. Then you can look back and say, well, I've progressed nicely and built up to this, so this should be comfortable, and I should be able to go out and give it my best and get a decent time and be happy with my performance. What happens from then, this is like a snippet of the end goal. Remember the marathon goal? So a couple more of these will be along the way. So because you've hit this and you're happy with that, then this can start building up, because overall you're after the marathon, but you need things along the way to check in to see how you're getting on. If this is a complete failure and you absolutely fall apart, then all you need to do is go, okay, right, let's regroup, let's have a look at this. And if all these are full, there's nothing wrong with going on here, deleting it and adding something else in. Right, I really struggled there. 10k was a bit too far for me. What I'm going to do is cut it back 7 or 8k, because I know I've done that in weeks 2 and 3. So let's look at building on around this and take it a little bit slower and work on that. If you're at a gym, then still do this. If you've got it on your calendar anyway, if you've got a booking system where it hooks up to, then it should add to your calendar anyway. So you can just start putting in, so like PT session. But what you need to start looking out for again is this. Because this is where things need to start having rest in. So if you look at it, it's like that PT session, class, going for a run, cycle, gym work, whatever. Then you need to just go in there, right, I need to rest this day. If it's a weekend of rest, then that's great. Whack it in. If you know that your whole weekend, every weekend, there's no exercise getting done, whether that's going out for a little walk or something, that's fine. But just make sure you're taking rest out for yourself. So the main takeaway points from this is that it's progressive and it's getting you results. At the same time, if it's not, you need to understand why, what's gone on. So, right, I'm on week 3. I should be at 10k now because I've done 8 and 9, but I just can't quite master this. So I'm just going to drop back. That's all. Just get in there and change it round. I know, right, I've done 3 sessions this week, PT sessions, or I've done 3 gym sessions. I'm starting to ache a little bit, so I need to just take a little bit of rest. If you've got any measurements, any times, etc., feel free to log them in there or underneath and just build up on that, and then use that to see where it is you're up to. So then we can start to see exactly that it's progressing. And if you look back if you're getting to week 6, you look back and think, wow, look at where I started off here, and now I'm doing this. My measurements are changing, my run times are getting quicker, whatever. Then that's pretty good to see 6 weeks. Although it's a small table, 6 weeks is a long time. And if you can look back over there, then that's a pretty big positive, and that's where you should be giving yourself a big pat on the back, looking for the positives. You get to week 6, and you think, well, I'm not quite where I want to be. Still look back and say, okay, well, I've achieved this, This is where it kind of went wrong. Okay, let's work and see what's in here, and let's tweak things for the next couple of weeks. And that's it. Just use it as information, guys. Any questions? You're struggling with anything? Then just let me know. It's a really basic way to look at a program. To be honest, that's how I've done mine. If I get mine up, I can show you what mine is actually. So let's show you how I've done mine. Really simple. If I showed this to some health professionals, they'd probably be like, "Oh, yeah, what's that?" So let's get my training program up. Just get it up now. Found it. So this is for 6 weeks. It's not loading up, is it? I have to close this one down and I'll show you. Okay, it's just because it hasn't been saved. Basically, in here, I've done PM, training, AM, PM, 2 lots of sessions. One's a yoga session, rest day, back in, rest day here. I know that if I do it each week, then I get to there. So here, for my race day, is 8K. Eventually, it is a marathon. So I know, for instance, so I'm on week 2. Where am I up to? Tuesday. So I've run 9K today. That's further than what I need. So now I know I can get that distance. I just need to start cutting it down into bits like this and try and work on my time. So for me, the thing I'd be measuring is how fast I can cover a distance. I wouldn't necessarily go for that distance again. I'd work down and do that. So if you're using measurements for like weight and things like that, log them underneath and see what's progressing. Say you lose £1 here, £2 here, £1 here, and then you want to be at a certain weight for here, and then all of a sudden something stops. It's like, okay, well, let's look over the exercise I've done. Let's look at what the point I set for that day. So was it drink more water? Did I get on that? And then just try and fine tune and see what's going on. And then once you've pinpointed that, change these round and then alter it so you can move on and get some results. Like I said, any questions, just let me know, post in the group, and I'll answer them. If you're stuck for the end goal or you're stuck to how to measure it, then just let me know and I'll sort that out as well.